Hey guys, it's Vanessa from Building a Hopeful Homestead. Today I'm out on my terrace. I am getting ready to strip out the summer garden completely and finish planting the fall garden. I have a few pots to work on, so let's get to it. Gosh. Alright, I had to get some scissors. I found them. It feels so wrong to strip these off after all the work it took to grow them. But they're not producing beans anymore, so it's time to say goodbye. They will eventually start shooting out the peas and soaking up the nutrients that they need to get instead. So it's better just to get them out of here. And the peas will start hanging on to the beans, and we don't want that because you want to eventually strip them out, and if the peas have attached to them, it'll be really hard to untangle them and you'll probably damage the plants. So it's time. Alrighty. One bean is out. Move to the next ones. I have a bucket where I'm putting all of the discarded foliage from my my summer garden, and I will just compost that over the fall and winter and work it in with my soil next year. is under here. What is this? No wonder it wouldn't come out. Okay guys, I have to show you this. I'm not sure if you can eat this or not, but look at the root on this winged bean. That almost looks like it should be edible, and there's a huge piece down in there still. I couldn't get this one out, so I kind of just left it. Do you guys know if you can eat this? I'm gonna have to look it up and see. That's insane. I've never seen something like that on a bean before. Wow, and look, there's little tiny ones starting to form too. That's crazy. I wonder if we could have eaten this if I had left it. Oh well. I'm gonna go ahead and get the other one out, and then next year we'll know. So I'll look it up. Seriously, look at these. These are like tubers. That's insane. Wow, there's tons of the roots over here. Oh my gosh. Oh my word. What an amazing discovery. Like, I'm sure it probably says this on the website at Bakersfield Creek, but I can't believe. I really wonder if you can eat that. Like, I'm really curious now. I want to go look right now, but I'm doing this, so I'm going to keep doing it and let these sit out here while I work. We'll find out though, and I'll put it in when I edit the video. Well, that was fun. You guys hear the background noise? That low intensity, like never-ending sound in the background is I-95 in Virginia. We live rather close to it, and we have for about 8 years now, but after we moved to the townhouse, the noise over here is a lot louder than it was in our house. We could still hear it at our house, but it just wasn't so deafening all the time. So it is nice to out here. It is an escape, but it's also not nice because of all that road noise. I detest road noise. We've been looking at properties, and when we go see them, if I hear road noise at all, it's out of the running because I can't stand it. It's just so all-encompassing and like drowns out your thoughts. You can't hear any of the nature. Don't like it. Alright, well, let me show you guys these roots too, because these are crazy as well. I swear if we could eat the roots on these as well as the beans, I'm gonna plant these every year anyway, but that would be so cool. Like a multi-purpose plant. That's the kind of stuff that you really want when you're growing in these kind of conditions on a townhouse terrace and don't have land of your own to grow in. Look at that. Look at that. And these grow from seed. So I don't know what this is. We'll find out. Alright, so I finished stripping out the beans. I got the peas all situated. I don't know if you guys can see or not, but I'm sure you can. I'll just angle you down a little bit more. This kale is what I pruned the other week, and it's really starting to take off again. It had been eaten by cabbage worms, and it's really happy now. It's starting to just flourish again. I'm really happy I did that. Okay, so now I'm going to prune back my Siberian kale that I already have planted, because it was also attacked by cabbage worms. I'm just going to prune back the ugly leaves to let these little leaves here thrive, so that no more energy goes to those ugly dead leaves, because it has sprouted new leaves now and it doesn't need those anymore to collect sunlight. And so these smaller ones can get bigger. That was quick. Much better. Those will take off, and these Siberian kales thrive in cold weather, so these will be really happy out here. I'm glad I have these already started. I'm going to start some more, but having some already started means I won't have a lull in my vegetables. I'm going to strip out this basil because it has lived its life. And I'm just going to kind of tap these over top of the soil so that if the seeds fall out, they'll come out next year, and I won't have to plant as much basil from seed. And in the meantime, I can still use this soil to plant something else. This system that I have going on right here isn't exactly the best. It's not exactly pretty. Kind of cruddy looking, but it gets the job done. It grows things, especially when you add blood and bone meal and crab shells to the mix. I don't even know what this is, so it's getting plucked out. Don't want to poison myself. This lettuce leaf basil, I probably could leave it, but in fact I'm going to leave a few and see what they do, but the rest I'm going to prune out because they're looking kind of icky. You know what, that thing that was right there that I just pulled out, I think it was strawberry spinach, what I planted at the beginning of the year, and it died. I swear. Oh well, what's done is done. I don't think I can even find, let's see. Here it is. I'll stick it back in and see if it does anything. Live, my little plant, live. Alright. So this is ready for other seeds now. I might mix in some blood and bone meal and crab shells to it just to fortify the soil. And that's good to go. I go ahead and pluck this basil out. This is a Thai basil. Urgh. This came up as a volunteer. I know it's something that I planted. I know it is. I just don't know what it is. So I'm kind of hesitant to keep it. But I think I will leave it there and then plant some other similar something with it and see what it turns into before I decide to get rid of it all the way. Oh, what a mess. Yeah. That. Here's this one. This is also a Thai basil. Ew, stink bug. Get away from me. try to get all the soil out of the bottom, or as much as I can. Alright, this one's ready to plant again. This is lettuce leaf basil and some lettuce. It's kind of spent its usefulness and it will not get bigger over the fall. It'll just die back. So I'm going to strip it out. I might keep some of these pieces of lettuce for tonight's dinner. And some of the basil actually. So, but just don't need to waste that. Alright, I think I got everything that I need to. Well, here's some more. My hair keeps getting in my face. Yeah, this is much easier to strip out than the other basil. Those got bigger though. I'm sure if I had space to let these, like to space them out in a garden, these would get gigantic. Because they're supposed to. I mean, they get giant, like a big piece of romaine lettuce. I just kind of take it all year long and use it as it grows. It doesn't get that big for me because I have it crammed together. But I'm happy with what I got and how I did it this year, so I'll continue to do it that way. So the miscellaneous leaves and compost and roots in there will compost down over the winter, especially after I plant something else in there. So that's done. And I will take you guys over to the next thing now. So this was my herb separator pot this year. I planted a ton of herbs in here and some of them came up, some of them did not. I'm going to strip out this old basil. Some things in here will stay and they'll come up next year, which is great, so I won't have to deal with it again. And if I ever want to stop using this, if we move or something, I can just pull the cube of dirt out and transplant it somewhere else, and then I'll have that come up every year there. I got this from Lidl. It was pretty handy on this balcony here. Just the fact that I could have something up and put something else underneath of it. Kind of saved space. But I would suggest those towers instead. I was too cheap to buy one of those towers. I really try to watch our budget, so I just got this instead because it was a more affordable option. I got most of my pots from the Dollar General because as far as I could tell and find, that it was the most affordable place to buy pots. Everywhere else was double if not triple the price. Lowe's was triple the price of Dollar General, and it was double the price of Tractor Supply. So I'm pretty happy with the fact that I was able to find those. As you can hear, that highway noise is incessant. All the tractor trailers. We live off, unfortunately, we live off of a truck stop area, off of 95. So all we hear all day long are tractor trailers, brakes grinding, horns going, or just the deafening noise of it all. It doesn't stop or go away. It's just omnipresent. It gets old after a while. We've been here almost a year, and I'm really glad we don't have to stay here because I don't want to. And after we move, I may talk about some of the other unpleasant things that we found here, or were around. But I'm not going to do that until after we move. I'm going to build up the soil around the sage because sage comes back every year. So I'm keeping this in here. Over the winter, I may try to plant some kale in here or some tiny bok choy. I think actually I'm going to do tiny bok choy in here. I think that's a good option. And I may try to do regular bok choy in here as well. Sectioned off nicely so that I know how many plants are in which one, and it'll just look really neat and tidy. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to plant anything in there because that's where the sage is at. All right. I was going to strip my peppers out, but I don't know if you guys can see. Let me angle you. Just take it closer. The shishito pepper has new baby peppers on it. There's not just a few, there's like 20. So I'm leaving that one. The bell pepper has tiny babies on it as well. So I'm gonna leave this one. The other one I might take out. Let me go take a look at it. Oh no, I see peppers on that one as well. So the peppers stay just to see if they'll give me one last flush of peppers. And I will go get my seeds and get everything organized out here, and we'll start planting. Okay, so here I am. I have my, where's the camera at? Tiny bok choy from Baker Creek seed, heirloom seeds, and then the regular bok choy. Before I plant, I'm going to fertilize with these crab shells. They're just ground crab shells, that's it. I'm also going to put this organic blood meal on it. A lot of people are like, ew, you're touching that? Yeah, I am. It's okay. I'll wash my hands later. And then this is organic bone meal. Just gonna do a sprinkling of this over each block as well. Just give that a little bit too. All right, keep these out here because I'm going to fertilize some of the other buckets that I just stripped out too. Now normally I'd let these sit for a while, but I want to get these seeds in, so I'm just going to toss this into the soil with my fingers. Use a shovel, it's whatever. It's just that my fingers can get down here easily, and the shovel cannot. I've turned off my central air system today because it's such a nice day. I'm actually rather warm right now. For something that has a plant in it, I just kind of give it a little zhuzh just to mix it in so it doesn't fly away. And I'll just do that. There. Now, this is the bok choy. Best planted in cool fall conditions, sow in place, 1/4 of an inch depth. I'm going to start with that over here, pull back some of the soil, and just get in there and go for it. I'll probably use the rest of the seeds in this packet because as it comes up, I'm just going to pluck it out and eat it so that I can, you know, thin it. We'll have this whole side be the bigger bok choy. And then the rest of it can be tiny. Oh my gosh, that was a lot. All right, just sow a bunch. All right, that's all planted, and I'll give it a little soak just to make sure everything stays in place and that the fertilizer gets into that soil really well. Great, bok choy's done. In this container, I am going to plant this Chinese broccoli and this choy sum, this blood meal, sorry. This soil was really dead when I got it. I didn't know it. And getting that combination, it's like the dream team for my plants because everything just exploded right after I applied it. So I just apply it every couple, like once every month and a half or 2 months, probably every 2 months out here. Just a little sprinkle, and I kind of work it into the soil before I plant now too, as you can see, just so the soil isn't, you know, without nutrients. Okay, so this says sow in place, 1/4 of an inch depth. This one I'm going to do a line on each side of each kind. Now, this side over here is going to be choy sum. See, it's really pretty once it's done. And yeah, I'm planting a lot, but like I said, when stuff comes up thick, all I do is just thin it out and eat the sprouts, because with most things, especially this stuff, it's edible. Some things you can't do that, like tomatoes, you can't do that with tomatoes. But with broccoli and stuff like that, you can do that. Radishes, lettuce, basil, This is the Chinese broccoli. Really want this to do well this time. Last time I did not do so well because right after I planted it, it got really hot. This time, I'm really hoping, I'm really hopeful. All right, so that's planted. Hopefully we'll have a good harvest of that. And let's see, 50 days. Yeah, 50 days. I'll mark it on the calendar. Hopefully we win this time. So I'm having trouble deciding what to plant next. I have a couple cabbage varieties. I have a bunch of Japanese green and Asian greens in here. And I have a bunch of kale. I don't want to do the kale in here just because I feel like it can thrive in a smaller pot. In fact, I know it can, so don't want to do that. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is stick a cabbage in here. And I've always wanted to try, sorry I can't see, growing this kind of cabbage because it's my favorite. So I'm going to try to sow a couple in here and just see what we come out with. If it doesn't grow, I will go ahead and put kale or some other kind of green in here instead. I know these get huge, so this will probably only be home to one of these, but I'm going to sow quite a few just to make sure I get at least one. All right, now let's just pinch that up. Alright, that one is done. I'm excited about that. I've always wanted to plant that, so we'll see what happens. Next is this one. Just make sure that I'm in frame. There we go. This has a bunch of old onion roots in it from when I did my spring onion harvest, but that's okay. It'll just break down and become compost. Gives the new roots something to hold on to, and it will make the soil sturdier and not so loose eventually. Because it's a nice thing to cover up tiny finicky seeds with. Alright, so in here I'm going to do a kale variety. I have a lot. I'm gonna go with the Old Faithful, the blue Scotch kale, and just see how it goes. I always have my kale come up. It doesn't always look like the picture when it comes up, but it comes up. Just pull some of this away. I overseed like nuts, and I know that drives people crazy, but if I think it's too thick, I'll just pluck out the babies and eat them. It'll be fine. All right. Blue Scotch kale planted. Let's do this one. This one I got ready a while ago. The soil's looking really nice. I think I'm going to plant this Jimmy Saw. Don't hate me for my pronunciation. It looks good, so I'll give it a shot, plant it. That's funny, like, it's funny how all kale seeds, even though they're completely different varieties, and almost all green and broccoli seeds look the same. Because these look identical to the broccoli seeds that I just planted, and the kale seeds, and the cabbage seeds, to be honest. I do wish I had long, beautiful rows in a garden to plant this in, but I don't. So it's all just going to go right here. And it'll come up just the same and taste just as good. Just be a little crowded, that's all. I think I'm going to stick this into the pot so that I know what this is. All right. Next. What's this? It's an old melon piece. We'll leave that there. Next, I'm going to plant this Komatsuna, Old Tokyo, and this pot right here. Planted the same as the other ones. So I do want to share with you what time of year it is here. I'm probably doing this, you know, rather late in the season. It's mid-October, but it tends to be warmer here for some reason than further north. I mean, that makes sense, but further north, just in Virginia, like an hour up, it's warmer here. Hopefully it'll work out. And I'm going to go ahead and put this label in this one as well so that I know what it is, because I've never planted it before and it's new to me. Trying to get better about labeling my plants, but as you guys have seen in my last videos, I mean, I'm horrendous about it. I'm back. In this pot, we're going to do Yellow Heart Winter Choi and Tatsoi. I know they won't fit, but if they get too big, I will get more pots and transplant them. I just need to get them started, you know what I mean? And I'm not going to do a ton. If I feel like there's not enough space and I can't get pots, then I'll just pluck them out and eat them. And what's left will be left to get huge. Alright, so that's the Tatsoi. Just doing a little half circle. And then this other half circle will be the Yellow Heart Winter Choi. My family really likes stir fries and things, so we'll definitely eat everything that comes up, big or small. Alrighty. Now, I think I'm also going to just go ahead and put a Tatsoi in here. I'm not sure what this other plant is, but I'd like to have more than one. Hopefully those come up. Now I'll water them. So I mean, having a garden does take a few minutes. It does take a while sometimes, but not every day. I would say, I mean, the majority of my time is spent just, you know, looking at it, watering it, drinking tea out here. I only really take this much time in the garden when it's time to pull things out and re-sow. And it's, I mean, it's really convenient and it's easy to do, so I encourage you to be self-sufficient and grow some of your vegetables, because the store may not always have what you need. This pot, I'm planting this Japanese daikon. I love daikon radishes, they're my favorite. In a pot next to this, I have daikon planted already. I want more because I'm greedy. So, just kind of breaking up this topsoil here. These get really big, so as the small ones grow, I pluck them out and eat them in stir fries. And then the ones that are left to get huge. So that way I have a constant supply of radish. And who knows, I might even grow enough to pickle some this year. And they're supposed to be really good for balancing your hormones. I love radishes. Right, that one's done. I already did the fertilizer this a couple of weeks ago when I stripped out the squash plants. I'm sorry I didn't get that on camera. I came out here and it was a really quick process and I didn't want to bore you guys with it. So that's why I didn't show you. Alright, next we'll move on to the next section and then we'll be done. I want to give you guys a quick peek at this spinach in here. It said it was heat loving, but look how much it's exploded. These are two different varieties. Water leaf and red Malabar spinach. They're really happy. And the peas are really happy too. Everything that I planted for fall so far is doing really well. Alright, these plants are super small, these pots, but I'm going to try something big in them and see if it works out and see how much soil these things actually need. If they just need space or do they need all that soil. I could do a lot of smaller stuff in here, but I wanted to go ahead and get these in the ground. If they don't like if they get big in here, I can always transplant them over to the sweet potato pots after I harvest the sweet potatoes. So over here, in this pot right here, I'm going to plant this dazzling blue kale. This is a small variety and it will do well in here. And it will give us a lot. Even though I'm not planting a lot. These produce really well. And they do really well. Now there's that strawberry spinach. Oops. It's okay. Alright, so the dazzling blue kale is in. Now, I'm going to plant 2 of these cabbages into this longer pot over here. And that way, if they grow and thrive and get bigger, it'll just be kind of easy to transplant it out. I just cut squares. I'm going to put quite a few seeds in. to make sure I get a sprout. I might do 3 actually, just to make sure. I've always wanted to grow my own cabbage. I don't know why, but I always have, since it's like, you know, this really impressive large vegetable, and I've always wanted to give it a shot. And it goes a long way too. Alright, in this pot, right here in the middle, I'm going to do this Dutch leaf. Premium late flat cabbage. It's Dutch. Just want to give it a shot and see if it works out over the fall and winter. I've seen cabbages outside and people harvest them all winter long as they need them. So why not me too, right? I can just cover it with something or stick it into the greenhouse. All right, let me give this a water. These are quite dry, so I'm going to try to give it a good soak in real quick. Fill up this bottom pan so that it soaks up from the bottom. Now I'm going to show you guys my daikon radish. I planted this 2 weeks ago. See how big it is? That beet's doing really well. Just want to take a moment to thank you guys for watching this video and spending time with me today. It was a really long video and took a long time. I really appreciate you guys spending the time to watch this video and spend time with me while I plant my garden. Thank you so much for your positive thoughts and feedback as well. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching. Bye, friends.